What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Thursday. It's our last day of the week for Coffee Talk, and yeah, we got some things to talk about over here. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm a little late today. I had some errands to run this morning, and when I got in this house, I was like, let me make me some breakfast. I need to eat before I get over here on Coffee Talk because I never know how long the conversation is gonna go. So yeah, we here now. um, yeah, we're gonna get into some things, some black excellence, some black history, some current events, some celebrity gossip, and some of the things that we see over here on our timeline, y'all. It's time to get into the things. I'm not gonna waste any time this morning chit chatting about things. Like I told y'all, y'all don't want to hear about me going on no errands, child. It was a quick little yang yang over to where I needed to get him back, you know, like I said, but I had to get me something to eat. So, don't be mad at me about that. It's okay. It's okay. Let's get on into the thing. Um, 17-year-old scored a perfect 1600 on the SATs and will attend Harvard this fall. I called my mom ASAP. I know he did. I know he did. You know how the kids do when something happened, the football players be down on the field saying hi to their mom because some of these kids realize and understand how much work the moms put in. You know what I'm saying? So at just 17 years old, Sahili Nagasi, I hate when I can't, I hope I got it right, achieved a perfect 1600 on the SAT, a score earned by only a tiny fraction of test takers each year. The SAT measures college readiness across math, reading, and writing, making a perfect score a reflection of exceptional preparation and consistency. After receiving the news, one of the first people Sahali called was his mother, celebrating the milestone with the person who supported him throughout the journey. He now plans to attend Harvard University, one of the world's most competitive institutions. His achievement is a reminder that discipline, focus, and hard work can open doors to extraordinary opportunities. I'd love to hear it. Shout out to his mom. He didn't say nothing about his dad, so I'm not going to worry about him. So, shout out to his mom for doing a great job getting her son prepared for the next stage in his life. Harvard is a big deal. So we're not gonna pretend like that's not a thing. And yeah, I guess parents, we gotta make sure that we are out here giving it the best that I got, giving it the best that we got, to make sure our kids are prepared for, it feels like this next generation, the ones that are participating in society in, a positive way, they got a long road ahead of them. They got a lot of obstacles that they're going to have to face in terms of what the world is giving them. So, yeah, congratulations to this young man. And hopefully we'll see more like it. Maybe we'll see him in one of these positions. One of the largest aviation companies in Atlanta is BPE Air, owned by a black man. Not one of the largest now. Atlanta entrepreneur Aldrew Crow is the founder and CEO of BPE Air, a black owned private aviation company that has been operating for 6 years. 6 years is like, it takes 5 years to know, whether your business is going to be successful. So that's 6 years. That's a milestone. That's a milestone into, taking your business to the next level. And to be one of the largest is crazy. Based in Atlanta, BPE Air provides private charter service, aircraft sales, aircraft leasing, flight training, and other aviation support. According to the company, BPE Air generated more than 90 million in revenue last year. Awesome, marking a major milestone for the growing aviation business. The company's mission also extends beyond revenue. BPE Air is developing scholarships, mentorships, simulator experiences, and training opportunities designed to introduce more Black and Brown students to careers as pilots and other aviation professionals. Our success should create opportunity for other people, Crow said. Aviation is the business, but people are the purpose. Child, we need him, Case. We need to escape. Case, we need to escape this zoo. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian flower. We need to keep our eye on this company, child. I think it's cool though, like when you're talking about sending your kids to aviation school and um just various, like there's auto airplane pilots, all kinds of things. I wonder what his background is. I wonder if he is a pilot for military or just a business investor. I'd be curious to know more about Mr. Crow, but yeah, maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll look into what his background is, because I feel like this is one of those spaces that you don't often hear about Black people being having ownership. Good morning, Motown investor. So yeah, this is awesome. So if you're looking to do private jets or any of those things, the scholarships that are available, like I said, 6 years is a milestone, because it takes 5 years for a business to be considered, you know, successful. It takes 5 years to work out all the kinks and know like whether you have a solid standing, a solid foundation. So 90 million, that ain't nothing to sneeze at in terms of the revenue that he brought in last year. That's a Black pilot right there. That's also Yee. We see Yee. I try to avoid Yee, so he was over there, I guess, renting a plane from this man. We've been talking a lot about bonnets and keeping people out of the classroom based on their dress code, but I feel like this is one of those reasons why you help a student, get over whatever hump they got going on. This is over here at Morehouse. Morehouse professor Dr. Nathan Alexander earned praise after volunteering to hold the student's 5-month-old daughter for an entire 50-minute lecture when the young father had no available care for her. Allow him to stay in class and focus on his education. I feel like this is an older story. Um, I know I heard it before. I don't know how long ago it was that I heard it, but I think this is awesome. I remember having a job as a manager at a restaurant, um, and a young lady came in to do the interview, and I can't remember if it was her baby or if she was babysitting for someone else, but she came in and she did the interview, and I could have taken that opportunity to hold that against her, but I looked at it like she came anyway. And was she qualified? It was a long time ago. Um, if I remember right, I feel like she got the job. But these are things that you could hold against a person. So this young man came to class. He got up, he got his kid ready, and he came to class. And just so he could take his notes and focus on his education, the professor decided he would go ahead and hold that baby. And if like I know, babies are fine when you standing up, walking around. They don't get antsy until you sit down with them. So, each one teach one. And support one another in a place where it's important. You say Black people do everything, and we do. And we do, despite the effort to hold us down. Um, Seems like sometimes they find themselves in a position where they need us more than they realized. And when I say they need us more than they realize, let's talk about this situation that's going on over here with these farmers. Some MAGA farmers and field owners stated that they thought Black workers would be taking the jobs of Latinos who were deported. Who told them that? Who sold them that dream that they thought that the Black people was going to come over here and work these farms? The child, I think it's something that we are adverse, we allergic to going over there because of what our history. And so we don't really, seek jobs like that unless we own some land and it's our own farm. So I don't know who told them that lie. White farmers all over the country are currently devastated by Donald Trump's policies and state they don't know how they're going to make it this year or next year, selling some of their property to be able to survive. Some users on Twitter X, they still calling that shit Twitter. Y'all still on Twitter? When Elon took over, I exited the building. Some users on Twitter X and some farmers say they remember Trump saying immigrants were taking black jobs. Y'all are stupid. and thought that and thought that when Trump deported enough people, black Americans, with them being citizens, would be getting a lot more job opportunities and employment. So nobody went over there. This is not a black job, white farmer. This is not a black job. A black job is owning an aviation company down to the Atlanta area where you're bringing in 50 milli. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's not a black job, sir. Sorry. This logic doesn't make sense to me. And why are you so devastated? Why didn't you hire some of the white folks to come over there and plow your lands and get you together? You sitting around waiting? Do you know how to do it yourself? You better purchase a tractor and go over there and run that land as best you can, while you can. But as far as we're concerned, that ain't a black job. That's a job that y'all can have. Like I said, unless it's my farm, then your incentive is different. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of black farmers and black farm workers. They just not coming over there to your plantation. That's what we're gonna call it, a plantation. We had a discussion about plantations. Seems as though some of these plantations are suffering. Um, yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Hopefully they'll make their voices heard down to the polls when it's time to, make decisions. Why don't people want to work? It's y'all's fields. Thank you. First comment. Thank you. It's your field. Go out there and do something. We work in corporate America. Ask your relatives to help them on the farms. Seems like, the sentiment is the same. Get a trailer, people to do it. Get the trailer people to do it. Mm. Do they know how to do anything? I don't know if they know how to do anything besides cook meth down to the trailer park kitchen. Anyway, moving right along. A couple few stories to get through, and then y'all, this is so. The going to the grocery store is such a stressful experience anymore. You don't know what you can eat, what you can't eat. While these farmers is over here, trying to find some black folks to come work their land. Well, maybe some of the black people that we know, we could pull our money together. We could get some of this land so we could grow our own food. Since Bill Gates got other plans, what is wrong with him? It's like the administration and all their billionaire buddies are a bunch of weirdos that weren't getting any cootie cat and no friends. Now they over here trying to destroy the world, Pinky, one day at a time. Bill Gates funded contraceptive GMO corn that makes people infertile set to save the world from overpopulation. Really? You gonna put it in the corn? GMO corn is set to stop man from spreading his seed. Well, feed it to the men. Like, yeah, y'all can be the ones to take this one, see if it works. The article from The Guardian, dating back to 2001, talks about how corn is being widely bioengineered to produce anti-sperm antibodies and intentionally disseminate reproductive function. The goal to save the world from overpopulation. You may be consuming it unknowingly. Well, what is it doing to women's bodies? So that if we may be consuming it unknowingly, that means it's already happening. We already getting it. Child, we need to ride down through Ohio during the October months and snatch some of that corn off of some of them stocks that you see down there. I was late too, T. Good morning. Had some errands to run this morning, so we just getting started. These are the same people that are against yeah. We I mean, I feel like this. I feel like every person should have, be making their own choices. Abortion is never going to be the solution, like not the preferred solution. However, I feel like whatever contraceptive you feel like you want to take, it should be a choice too. Don't need to be tainting my corn with, sperm killer. And I mean, what are the percentages? We don't know. They just feeding it out to see what. What are you? I really wonder, like, what is the actual game plan? Do these billionaires plan on, six, eight, 10 of them, however many we have on the planet? Are they planning to live on this earth by themselves once they get rid of all the people? Is the plan to get rid of all the people and do what? Just them and their robot friends and their blow up dolls and things? I just don't understand. Oof. I find myself speechless over here often because, why are y'all letting Bill Gates do whatever the hell he wants to do? And again, like they said, you might already be consuming it. That means it's already in the grocery store. So now when you go to the grocery store, watch out for the corn. I'm cool. Won't be no more babies made over here anyway. I've made my contribution to society and I made it to grandmotherhood. So the world would be better without Bill Gates. That's Chromatic 317. I don't want Google to think I said that. I was just reading the comment. I can't say I disagree. His mother should have eaten the corn. The people are out here. Oh, what else they say? He would look great with an orange outfit on. Feed his ass corn. For God's sake, someone deal with this. Yeah. Yeah. Great plant. Planted in India or Somalia? Why would you say that? Oh, this must be one of them. That's one of them. Always one of them. Got to ruin the party. We was over here having a good old time. You feeding it to Denny? Oh, the the contraceptive corn. Yeah. Well, you let us know how that turns out. I guess if there's no more babies, then I don't think that's in his plan. I'm gonna jump out on a limb and say I don't think that's what he out here trying to do anyway. I think the baby farm, not the baby farm, but the baby factory. The baby factory is closed. So Nancy Grace got over here with this clown that was talking to interviewing the kids. There's two videos. I've saved both of them. I have not listened to the whole thing, so I don't know if it's the same thing, but we'll see. You said you can't have any more children. He can't either. I know that's right, child. Does the corn only work on women? Pack, I believe the corn is for men. Let me see. And I mean, the way they be acting, they won't even want to eat the corn either. Because I feel like even when they're 80, they want to feel like they can still reproduce. It says to stop the man from spreading his seed. So this one is for the dudes. This is for them. Can you imagine your husband come home and you've been told that he got a baby on the side and you like, I know you lying. I've been feeding you that corn for 8 years. So we don't know. We'll see if it works. I feel like, at the end of the day, we just gonna have to resort to, growing our own food. To me, that's just gonna have to be the resort. If you live in like somewhere like New York City and it ain't no grass, maybe y'all gonna have to figure out some type of rooftop garden situation, community garden. But and I guarantee you, at some point, the government will put stipulations on that to make it where you can't do it. But yeah, it looks like we just gonna have, when you go in Walmart, next to the water hoses and things, it's all kind of bins and different tools to build a garden that you don't necessarily like. You can make your own compost and have, good soil and all of that stuff. If you're talking about just for family, then yeah, we gonna have to start growing our own food and taking care of our own selves and eating our corn the way we want to eat it. Now, if you want to keep your man, use it for contraceptive, then you run down to the grocery store and tell them that you want to get some of that Bill Gates corn. Just put it out there like it is. Put the corn over next to the condoms, so we'll know which corn we're getting. Anyway, we talked a little bit about Nolan yesterday, and we listened to this boy give this interview. I went on YouTube and listened to the Good Ginger break it on down, and yeah, that kid is lying. So let's see. Like I said, we'll see if these are two different videos, but let's see what Nancy had to say over here.
Are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call potentially, but you wasn't going to upload data to a social media account. And I heard evidence of that. Not only did I see evidence of it when I went out there myself personally with my cell phone, when I listened to the CETO call, you could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. So the videos that they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn?
Okay, so this doesn't, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, him saying that the reception wasn't good enough to upload, that doesn't mean there shouldn't be pictures. So if there's pictures, why weren't they there? Why weren't they deleted? Why are we? Okay, so all these boys have pictures from that day. And I keep, I don't want to like stay on Nolan Wells every single day, but I feel like as information comes out, I'm going to share it because, the more we know, the better off, knowledge is always power as far as I'm concerned. So this is the officer. I'm not sure why Officer Tatum is working so hard on behalf of these boys when, but, there's always one. We got them everywhere. We got one down here, running for governor. Anyway, there were no pictures though. Like, okay, even if he didn't upload them, and I feel like that's not what we do most of the time. Most of the time when we go somewhere, we take a bunch of pictures, we upload them later. We decide like which ones we want to upload and which ones not. I'm not a Snapchat person, but I use the Snapchat filter. I don't snap anything. So, funny story. Not so funny. But anyway, I posted something by accident on Snapchat that was inappropriate. Nothing, no nudity or anything like that, but it was definitely something that should have been left private. And I got a text from my daughter and she was like, gross. And I was like, what? And she was like, you on Snapchat. And I had to go over there and remove it. My daughter saw it and my friend saw it, and that's it. You can see who saw your snap. But I was like, this is why I don't be messing around over here, because I done messed around and uploaded something I didn't mean to. But yeah, I feel like that's generally how that goes. So what he's saying doesn't make sense. There's another video. Let's see. This is just more of the same questioning.
The friends taking polygraphs.
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph. And from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And so, and they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took
Why
a
do you say
polygraph
that's
test
from
but
what you
one.
understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and
They
passed?
told they yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there, so that's why I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lot of tech tests and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lot of tech test. It's not a traditional lot of tech test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lot of tech tests. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum, hold on. Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph.
Okay, so he said, first, from my understanding, all but one took a polygraph, only to say, no, that actually wasn't a polygraph. It's a kind of similar situation. Why is he speaking if he doesn't have any answers? If they keep talking, someone's going to make a slip. It seems like they're slipping. So I hope they keep talking because they're slipping and slipping. The Jolly Good Ginger broke down the interview that he had with one of these boys, and the way they cut it, and it was visible. I have done my own editing for my videos, and there's times where, you could tell, and there's times where I'm like, I did that smooth. Like, you really can't tell unless you're, professional. But it was like easy to the eye to see the way, they clip the thing together. And, so why are y'all clipping things and taking things out? If I put the video in the link from the Jolly Good Ginger, if you want to go over and look at the interview. But during the interview, he kept speaking of Nolan and my group of friends or my buddies or whatever he would say. So it was just interesting to see the breakdown. But this guy here, I'm like, he's a police officer. Why is he speaking on behalf of? Because he's making it worse. Yes, please keep giving interviews. Please keep talking, child, because, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I have to do a little more research, but I did see somewhere where the young man over in Texas, y'all know I can't remember nobody's damn name, but he's getting a new trial, I believe. So that's a good thing. But yeah, let's keep our, feet on these people's neck, because the way they over here lying, and it's just, who was it? That was Jaguar. Jaguar sent me some videos. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all. She sent me some yesterday. It's these two ladies, and they are white, but they going in. They are going all the way in, and you need to see people that look like this speak up.
The reason why Nancy Grace got her bob fixed to the heavens, honey, that thing wouldn't move in hurricane force winds. She knows something. Her gut tells her something, just like my gut has been telling me something has been going on with this case. It was too weird. It was too weird. And I got to be careful with how I say things, because y'all love to drag me through the mud anytime I talk out against Caucasians. So I'm trying to be careful how I word this. But before I get in the shower, I've had a long day at work. Before I get in the shower, I really wanted to put a little bit of 2 cents in your head with that, because I commented on Nancy Grace's video, and already people have started coming for me. And all I did was comment, why did we call CETO and not 911? And several people commented and said, well, because there was no medical emergency. You fucking racist idiot. What do you mean there's no medical emergency? Open your fucking ears. And do you not hear them in the background asking if someone is dead? Are you that small-minded that you will forgo any bit of the facts because you need your story to be the truth, where no one was murdered? If that was your youngin', If the roles were reversed, y'all, my God, as a white person, I can come out and say that. I know good and well if the roles were reversed, y'all would be dragging this through the mud. But because it was a group of Caucasians and it was an African American person that passed away, all of you small-minded, closed, racist people, you immediately want to assume that he died of like natural causes, or he caused his own death, or it wasn't a murder. I will always stand on the right side of history. I promise you. I don't care how many people cancel me, how many people come for me. My boys will know that their mother always stood on the right side of history. I have said that there was something fishy about this case from the moment it came out in the news. And as soon as I posted something about it, y'all came for me. And I'm just here to say that I stand with Nancy. There's a reason why Nancy is as into this as she was the Casey Anthony shit. Okay? She knows because her spidey senses are tingling just like my spidey senses are tingling. If a youngin' ever went with me on a boat, it don't matter if they were black, white, brown, purple, green, blue, square, triangle, rectangle, obtuse, caboose, papatus, you name it. That baby's coming home with me and my family. I don't care if anybody got in a fight or an altercation. If you go on the boat with me and my husband, I'm bringing you back.
It's time to unpack. Welcome to the Unpack Podcast. Like it.
She said, obtuse, papa, two coos. Listen, when I tell y'all about my best girlfriend, that's her right there. That's her. Maybe her accent is not quite that thick, but it's giving the same energy. Not Cap Papa Toos. Yeah, here's another one. And this lady, I mean, I feel like the last of her videos is all on the. She seemed like she's doing an investigation on her own. You said, I don't know if it was red rum, but if Nolan had alcohol poisoning, why didn't they call 911? I'm curious if the Mississippi autopsy showed alcohol poisoning. Well, I mean, I guess we still waiting on them to even turn over all of the, parts of his body for the final autopsy, because we don't believe these people. We know that this group of kids, their parents have a lot of pull, especially that judge who was very much involved. And I'm gonna show you this lady right here, because she has a lot of stuff that, like I said, it seems like she's dedicated her page to talking about this. Shout out to Jaguar for sending me these videos.
Why would Cito say this? Cause he knows his GPS won't match. Why would Cito say this? Cause he knows his GPS won't match. GPS don't match for Cito. GPS don't match for Cito. Y'all busted again, motherfuckers, and Cito ain't going down with y'all, bitch. Cito done ratted y'all out, bitch. Before assistance was rendered, the vessel owner advised that Cito was no longer needed. Ooh, Cito said they're not putting their business up for y'all raggedy ass kids. Cito ain't going down for y'all little murdering ass kids. So, what is y'all's story next, my babies? Let's go.
She had another one. So basically, Cito, because they know their GPS data would not match the Warren's boat, and they are not willing to go down and lose their business to protect a bunch of unalivers. So basically, they said they was told that help had already been obtained. So they didn't, we ain't go over there. Then people said they had it handled, basically. She had another one, because there was somewhere I heard that the boat went to the judge's house. And I think it was her. She got a lot of other stuff going on. So Nolan Wells case, Father Orange. Child, I'm telling y'all, she got a lot over here. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, there's supposedly, like I said, the boat was at the judge's house. There's clearly time spent to cover up this story. And it seems as though these people are less than smart, including the judge. I don't know that it was red rum, but something happened. And I don't know that it was alcohol poisoning either. And the reason why I say that is because when you listen to the 911 call, there's some element of panic. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody said, "You killed him. Damn it, Bart, you killed him." I don't know who Bart is. Sometimes you can be tussling, you know what I'm saying? Somebody fall. If he was under the influence, it seems like they were all drinking. And I would imagine, just based on what we see from Nolan's parents, they probably were not going to condone that, but that's neither here nor there. I think that's what teenagers do. Um, you could be horsing around or get a little aggressive and somebody fall and hit their head, you know what I'm saying? Then you don't know what to do and there's a panic. But at the end of the day, you call the police and you say, "We were tussling and he fell." And then there's witnesses there that says that's what happened. We don't know. But when people work so hard to cover something up, to me, that means some foul play was had. The same thing with the Murdoch case. They that boy was speeding in that boat, and I don't think them kids really wanted to cover it up. It was the threat of, those wealthy people. Same thing over here. Like you said, if they keep talking, we're going to keep finding out what's going on because, it's really hard to remember a lie. And little things like, this stupid police officer over here talking about, yeah, based on what I've heard, they said that they took a lie detector test, but it wasn't actually a lie detector test. It was like, you're saying semantics. That's not semantics, sir. That's a yes or no question. So what I asked you was, did they take a polygraph test? You know what I'm saying? If I asked you for a Coca-Cola and you bring me that Walmart brand pop, that's not the same. It's just brown pop, but it's cola, but it ain't what I asked for. So I asked you a specific question. Was it Coke or was it Walmart? Don't tell me it's the same thing, because it's not. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more. Sure, there's, these stories are going to keep, as we get details, we're going to talk about them. This is on another subject. I saw this the other day and I don't know why it irritated me, but it did. 94-year-old Martha May Ophelia Moon Tucker, good grief, finally fulfilled a lifelong dream of wearing a wedding dress. First of all, has she got all these damn names if she's never worn a wedding dress? Martha May Ophelia Moon Tucker. How? Just wondering, like, seems like she had a couple of opportunities to wear a wedding dress. But anyway, when she married back in 1952, segregation prevented many Black women in the South from shopping for or trying on bridal gowns. Maybe so. However, the white women were buying their dresses from Black seamstresses. So, Martha May, you might not have had the opportunity to go down to the department store and try on wedding dresses, but I feel like, Jackie O's dress was designed by a Black woman. I'm just saying that's how Black people made a living back then. So you didn't know a seamstress? I'm being hard on this lady, but this story just irritated me for some reason. Decades later, her granddaughter surprised her with a bridal fitting, giving her a chance to finally see herself as a bride as she always imagined. Hopefully this ain't what she always imagined. I know that's mean, but at 94 years old, this clearly can't be what she would have imagined. Imagine the number of ladies, this is the first comment. Imagine the number of ladies that died without having that wish fulfilled. Just seeing bridal shops, couldn't get it. There were, though. That's what I'm not understanding. There were plenty of, my grandmother was a seamstress. So, when she revolutionized, packed her things and went up to Flint to have a better life for her children, but that's a different story. I just feel like, isn't it strange how we romanticize the weirdest things? This lady's been married. Seems like a couple of times. She married back in 1952, so maybe her last name is hyphenated. I don't know. I don't know where her husband is, but I think it's so strange. I think this is part of the problem that we create in society with young girls, that this is part of fulfilling their dream. As what? She got to be a wife. So, what is it that's most important to you, being a bride or being a wife? Because walking around in a bridal salon versus having a custom made wedding dress, what's what's the dream here? Why are we always selling women that dream? Now you got this woman sitting up here, after she done lived her life, and I don't know where her husband is. He's probably no longer with us. And she's standing down to the bridal salon talking about she got to envision. That's the vision she had. Okay, girl. I'm glad this lady fulfilled her dreams then. And it's the comments for me, sobbing because this is so sweet and wholesome. Is that what okay. Wasn't that long ago. I'm glad she got her dream come true. It's a bunch of like fairy tale girls in here. This made me sad and happy. Love, gorgeous. I'm gonna cry. Is that how y'all feel, or is it just me? Am I somehow bitter? Gotta go cut up in a meeting. Don't hurt them, T. Is it just me being insensitive or detached? I'm not a wedding girl, but I don't, but I think weddings are beautiful a lot of the time. I just think the romanticizing this particular thing, um, when she very well could have had access to, having a wedding gown. I don't know what her wedding was, but what is the most important thing? Like, is it the wedding or is it the marriage? Because there's so many ways, like her and her the love of her life could have stood under a tree, for God's sakes, if the sun set. That's how they did it down on Yellowstone. Wasn't that, what's her name? Beth and what's his name was over there? Rex. Anyway, I'm just saying, I guess it's sweet. It's a nice story. But I'm not emotional about it. Yeah, I guess, Pack. I was like, I don't understand. Like I said, I feel like we romanticize things in a way that's unnatural. Um, yeah. I guess it's just me being snarky. I mean to, but as relationship conversation goes on, um, I ran across this. Is keeping gifts from an ex disrespectful to your new partner? We passed the wedding dress. Well, I don't know that we're down to an altar over here, but we're in the next relationship at least. Old relationships may end, but the gifts sometimes stay. And that can become a problem when someone new enters the picture. Jewelry, I'm not getting rid of my jewelry. Clothes, clothes only last so long. Expensive bags, not getting rid of that. Photos, I may keep my photos too. I had a life before you got here. I'm sorry. And other keepsakes from an ex can carry memories that a current partner may not feel comfortable seeing around. Like photos, to be honest, like, are they on my phone still? I mean, I think I can delete them off my phone. But if I have a picture, I'm not throwing it away because some new person came in my life. Some people believe a gift becomes your property once it's given, meaning there's no reason to throw it away just because the relationship ended. Others feel holding on to sentimental items, especially romantic gifts, can signal lingering attachment. I'm attached to my necklace. I don't feel like you need to tell the next man where it came from. You know what I'm saying? You got jewelry, so, the situation gets even messier when the gift is valuable or something you use regularly. So, where should the line be drawn? Is keeping the gift from an ex harmless or disrespectful to your new partner? I feel like it's your partner that's the problem. What do y'all think? I think this is definitely a problem that comes from the partner. If I have jewelry, I mean, I don't need to tell him I have a tattoo. So, and it is what it is. It's never caused a problem. You know what I'm saying? He knows what it is. It's never been an issue. It's never even been something that we've had a conversation about. The tattoo came before him. Um, Jewelry. I don't feel like I need to get rid of my jewelry. Now, if you walking around and you're saying my ex gave me this ring and you're still wearing it, that's on you. You shouldn't have said that. This is my jewelry. Where did you get it? I can't remember. I've had it so long. I think it was a birthday gift. Clothes. Like, are you walking around with your ex man's sweatshirt? Well, it's not his anymore. It's mine now. Now, am I gonna say, yeah, this sweatshirt was my ex's sweatshirt? Well, again, that's on you. That's not information that he needs to know. I think pictures are valuable, and if you have them, if you're walking around with a picture of your ex on your phone, I guess I don't do that. I don't have any pictures of my ex on my phone, but if you have a picture, I do have pictures like for my girls to have of their dad. I have pictures of, and this is funny, I don't know how this happens, but both of my girls and my son's dad, I have pictures like of their when they were a kid, you know what I mean, in elementary school and stuff. But I think that's cool for my kids to have so they could see their dad when he was a little boy. And, am I getting rid of that? I am not. So I don't understand why that would be an issue. And to me, it feels like, I don't know. I feel like it goes either way. I don't think you should get rid of something that was a gift to you. And if you're insecure about something like that, unless the person is making you feel like they're not done, you know what I mean, with the last relationship, I don't think that you walk around with a necklace from your ex, twirling it around your finger like, Bob gave me this. I don't know that that's the real deal, but I would say that makes for a very weak relationship. A better question is, if I'm in a relationship, why is my ex still buying me gifts? I need context. I didn't think that's what they said. They didn't say, should he be buying you gifts? They said, should you keep the gifts? So, first comment, you need to go back and read that again. No, next question. That would be my answer. It depends on the gift. But I think most gifts should be fine to keep. But I would want to know, what gift would it be that would be inappropriate for you to keep, if your ex gave it to you. Like I said, I'm a stand on it shouldn't be an issue. So don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. That would be, my advice. Now here's a situation. Y'all remember Adrienne Bailon? She used to be a cheetah girl, and over there on, what was that show with Jeannie Mai? To Talk, the real. Adrienne Bailon thought it was a good idea to set up hidden camera to catch her husband cheating. First of all, that's crazy. And it says, here's what she's seen. Before Adrienne Bailon said, I do, she secretly installed cameras in her future husband's home and says what she found changed everything. He should not have married her. If she did that, he should have changed his damn mind. Adrienne Bailon has revealed that before marrying Israel Houghton, she wanted to be absolutely certain she wasn't walking into another heartbreak. After previous relationships left her with trust issues, Adrienne admitted she set up the video camera inside Israel's home to see whether he was being faithful while they were dating. Girl, this is wild behavior. She's telling it to a publication. To her surprise, the camera never caught him cheating. Well, I mean, wasn't she friends with his ex-wife or something? Instead, I mean, I know they knew each other. She had sat down at a dinner table with that man and his previous wife. Instead, she says the experience gave her the confidence that she needed to move forward with the relationship. And after just 6 months of dating, the two got married. So within 6 months, she installed cameras in this man's house? That's not strange? That's not psycho? More than 8 years later, they're still together. He's probably afraid. She might, we did a story last month or so about that lady that had cameras in her ex-husband's house. From a legal standpoint, yeah, privacy laws can become complicated when someone installs surveillance cameras inside another person's home. It should be illegal. Whether recording is lawful often depends on factors such as who owns and controls the property, whether consent was given, where the cameras were placed, and state privacy laws. Goodness. Recording someone in areas where they have reasonable expectations of privacy can create serious legal issues. What do y'all think? Do you find anything wrong with this? Are you surprised she didn't find anything, and would you do this? I'm not surprised she didn't find anything. It was only 6 months. And he was dating her. Like, you can't automatically like go into things thinking that somebody is on some shady shit. And you don't need a camera to find out if they are. Yes, there's absolutely something wrong with it. Would I do it? Hell no. I wouldn't want somebody installing cameras in my house. Is that illegal? It's definitely illegal. It's definitely illegal, and it's also unhinged. Why in the world would she do that? Talking about she just wanted to make sure. And they said within 6 months of dating this man, she installed secret cameras in his house. That's a massive red flag. It is. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if they were like, this man wanted to make sure she was on the up and up, and so he installed cameras in her house. We would be like, oh my God, he's psycho. I feel like she's psycho. I feel like that's weird. Ugh. Child, we over here talking about whether we should keep the gift or not, and this girl's over here having surveillance inside the man's home and over here telling a publication. I knew she was crazy. I didn't know she was that kind of crazy. Whatever it takes to make you have peace, girl. We talk about fashion over here, and this is one of the things I hate about the fashion industry, and it's not just Chanel. This is what they do. Luxury brand Chanel destroys between 10,000 and 20,000 pieces of inventory every 6 months, according to a criminal case that went to trial. Employers were caught stealing bags that were supposed to be destroyed. So y'all would rather destroy it, you know what I'm saying, than gift it to someone. And then gifting a bag to someone is not going to damage your brand at all. A Hong Kong criminal trial has revealed that Chanel destroyed between 10,000 and 20,000 discontinued luxury products every 6 months, according to the testimony presented in court. The case centered on 4 former Chanel warehouse employees accused of stealing hundreds of bags and other luxury items that had been designated for destruction. Prosecution said the employees diverted merchandise before it could be shredded, with authorities recovering hundreds of Chanel products. Two defendants pleaded guilty before trial, while a jury recently found the remaining 2 guilty of conspiracy to steal. They're awaiting sentencing. During the proceedings, prosecutors disclosed that Chanel Hong Kong routinely destroyed between 10,000 and 20,000 discontinued products every 6 months in 2017. The testimony resonated debate over luxury brands destroying unsold inventory to protect exclusivity and prevent products from reaching unauthorized resale markets. Chanel has said its current sustainability practice have changed, sure, and that the testimony reflected historical practices rather than its current policies. I think they're full of shit. They're still practicing that way. I worked at Pier 1 some years ago, and same thing over there. You said if they ever break up, I wonder if he could retroactively sue her. Probably not. I don't know, because he went forward with it. I worked at Pier 1, and we were taking in shipment, and it was this huge vase that was probably, I would say, between $100 to $125 once it gets on the shelf. Not, it's Pier 1, so it's ridiculously expensive. The vase arrived, and it had a little chip in the base. Well, it was a chunk, but it was like a chunk that all you had to do was glue the thing back on. It wasn't, wasn't anything drastic. And obviously they couldn't sell it. And I asked the manager if I could have it because they destroyed it, and she let me have it because she was there. So they would have destroyed a perfectly good vase. We cannot give it to the employees because they feel like that would encourage employees to break things in order to get things for free. And I get that. But if we're all standing here and we're taking an inventory and there's nothing really wrong with it, but you have to destroy it rather than you could put it on clearance. You know what I'm saying? You could put that thing on clearance, and I guarantee you somebody would be like, heck yeah, I'll buy it. Because I took it home and I glued the thing back in, and you never even could tell there was anything, unless you went to the vase and looked for the crack. There was nothing wrong with it. So this is what these designer brands do, and this is what I hate about the fashion industry is how many waste mines, clothes upon clothes that get thrown away, like the fast fashion that people are talking about. It's doing a lot of damage to the environment, dumping these things that are not biodegradable. So you got landmines full of fabric and old disregarded clothes. Why not make these luxury bags? Why produce so much? If you're destroying 10 to 20,000 every 6 months, why not just fall back on your production? And then you won't have that problem. If you have a base of, how much you sell per quarter, why not just fall back, like I said, on the production? And if you have 100 bags left over, you can gift those bags for different reasons. I think it would be kind of hard to give 10 or 20,000. That does cheapen the brand, but that's okay. So for all you label whores out there, you're spending money based on an idea of something that doesn't actually exist. You can go buy a nice bag from, I don't know, Marshalls, and they have designer names on them, TJ Maxx. You could go buy a designer bag for $60. It's probably the same shit that got away from what they normally destroy. You know what I'm saying? So for all these label whores that make themselves feel like they're so much better because of the money they're spending on these clothes, you spending money on stuff that just goes to a shredder. Imagine the superficialness that us regular folk. Tennis star Naomi Osaka turned down a lucrative Coca-Cola deal for a lesser-known brand called Body Armor. She now owns equity in Coca-Cola after the company purchased Body Armor for $5.6 billion. Somebody was over there helping her make some good deals. Love that. I wonder why she didn't go with Coca-Cola in the first place. Probably because Body Armor clearly gave her ownership in the company. Woo, and look at her now. That's why she's like, I don't want to play tennis. I think I'm good. Naomi Osaka made a bold business decision that paid off in a major way. Instead of accepting a traditional endorsement deal with Coca-Cola, Osaka partnered with a similar sports drink company, Body Armor, and reportedly negotiated equity as part of her agreement. I know that's right, girl. The decision became extremely valuable when Coca-Cola purchased the remaining 85% of Body Armor for $5.6 billion in 2021. Osaka did not receive ownership in Coca-Cola as the graphic suggests, but for Body Armor, equity reported allowed her to benefit financial from the acquisition. Well, as long as I'm sure they're selling the part of the business that she has ownership in. Her story is another reminder that sometimes the biggest opportunity is not in the largest check offered today. It's ownership in what could grow tomorrow. And if Body Armor is doing well for Coca-Cola, then that means that Miss Osaka is also doing well. I absolutely love everything Naomi has been doing lately. She's a smart girl. And she is for the community. She be going out of her way to speak up, for the community. I love that. And it's almost like tennis is something that she's great at, but it don't run her life. She don't make, dealing, with the racism that goes along with playing a sport that's generally separated for white folks. Child, I'm not feeling like I want to censor myself today. So El Cid ain't here and your girl's on wild. Speaking of endorsements, so I'm not trying to keep talking about Usher and everything, but Lisa Ray came over here. She has something to say about this young lady.
Concert. We have seen it enough to know that when it comes to that part, that you know what the women has done and what is expected. So if you go up there and do something different and other than what's expected, people are going to look at you like you're the dumb one, because they like, what the hell you been under a rock? Because this is what it is. Mm-hmm. So I get that she had a man and that maybe she's not that kind of girl. But if you're not that kind of girl, then you should have kept your ass sitting down in your seat. Pretty as fuck or not. You know what I'm saying? and that's just what it is. Because you can get up there and say, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me that I don't want to be done to me. Right. That's true. But again, when you're up there, that's a part of the show. That's a part of the show. Period. That's what they do for that part of the show. You can't act like you didn't know that. And I'm going to add this on there too. You go to a Chris Brown and an Usher concert. We have seen it enough to know that when it comes to that part, that you know what the women has done. Her rebuttal was a little much.
Baby.
Like, came real strong. It was like what pretty with privilege or just lady like. It's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So all of that is, for me, is I'm taken aback. I'm almost like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. I think it's a way that you can get your point across with the stance that she took to be this pretty privileged lady, that she could have had said all of this ladylike, you know. I think what hope happen is that she opened up a can of worms, and I think that they're gonna get her, especially the girls that is about it. They're gonna be like, well, bitch, you should have, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be like, woo, you know what I mean? Because the internet, you know, is unstoppable. You know what I mean? So I do believe that, you know, she's going to get a little bit of backlash for this. But, you know, like she said, nothing happens in Chattanooga. So maybe she wanted to make that noise, and maybe she's ready for all of that. You know, that her rebuttal was a little comeback, you know. So I just wanted to know, was she expecting Chris Brown?
You know what's so funny?
Maybe I might have been mad too. You know, I would have been like, nah, not you.
I never thought of, because no disrespect
at all.
Usher and Chris have two different demographics.
That's true, and one is available and one is not. Come back.
Okay, so I think we've talked about this a lot. You said the only complaint I have about the young lady is the pretty privilege remark. I think that was tasteless, Pac. I agree with you, but I also feel like she wasn't wrong, because they went and got her. We know that they have a reputation. Well, Chris Brown definitely has a reputation for liking, you know, he has a particular type that's like a light-skinned kind of Asian looking type of girl. So she definitely fits into the aesthetic that Chris Brown is associated with, what he likes. Chris Brown, Usher, y'all created this pretty privilege. She said it out of her mouth, and it didn't sound good. But this is the other thing that, you know, when I get on the internet and I see all these people like, what does she expect? What do you know? They know what it is. Lisa Ray started out saying that very thing, only to end saying, I don't know, maybe she thought it was Chris Brown that she was going to get. And then and then she did the same exact thing. So I get it. If you are 23 years old, I'm saying 23. I know this girl is really young. She's a young lady. She's in the Chris Brown. Chris Brown is the same age as my son. So Chris Brown is like 37, 38 years old. I think he's a little younger than my son. So the Chris Brown is 38, 37. I'm going to give him 37. And he is, older. He's older than this girl, you know what I'm saying? And then you put another 10 years on Usher, Usher 47. So I don't think a lot of the young girls are into Usher the way we were into Usher. I know my daughter is 26 years old. She's not into Usher. She's not into Chris Brown either, to be honest. But I feel like, if she had her choice, it would be Chris Brown. I just think it's so funny that, she says something about this lady. They're going to get her. It's not going to be worth it. And in my point of view is Usher's old ass should have just played it off. You're the star. You're the performer. The lady is clearly uncomfortable. Ooh, a storm just came over. The lady is uncomfortable, and he did stop. They're giving him credit for stopping when he saw that she was uncomfortable. I would have given him credit for moving the show along without trying to embarrass her and then come back the next day and say some shady shit because you still in your feelings that this lady didn't want you. You know what I mean? She said out of her mouth that she would have preferred Chris Brown. So, there's that. But I think it's hilarious that everybody's talking so much shit on this girl. And look what has happened. Lisa talking about the coming for you. They're going to come get you. They came to get her, girl. They came to get her.
Gabrielle Cheyenne, the female fan who turned down Usher's intimate interaction, has earned Gabrielle shot to fame after she wore a completely blank expression throughout Usher's sensual dance performance. Many well-known internet influencers even started imitating her, and TMZ racked up 2 million views from interviewing her. Now she has finally gotten what she wanted. First off, she was just an ordinary person with only a few hundred followers and zero recognition before going viral. After blowing up online, her follower count jumped straight to 28,000. Seizing the opportunity, she immediately posted links to her accounts on other platforms in her Instagram stories, building her first dedicated fan base. Secondly, her striking beauty has attracted widespread attention. She works as an RN, a registered nurse, earning an annual salary of $70,000 US. Meanwhile, she is a single mother, and this contrasting persona draws in a great number of fans. Quite a few beauty and skincare brands have reached out to her proactively to negotiate business promotion collaborations. The quotation for a single piece of sponsored content can even exceed $10,000 US, bringing her a very substantial income. Most importantly, Usher and Chris Brown's tour concerts are still ongoing. As a loyal fan of Chris Brown, she will appear at the upcoming concert dates. For this reason, maintaining continuous exposure is never a difficult task for her. Do you know how much Gabrielle Cheyenne, the female fan who turned down Usher's intimate interaction, has earned? Gabrielle shot to fame.
So they only put her on a bigger platform and give her the opportunity to make money. I have respect for this girl for moving so quickly. She moved fast. TMZ got over there, put her on a platform, and now she's set to come to more concerts. Per who? Chris Brown? I don't know. Is she gonna get that chance to get on stage with Chris Brown? I don't know. Now, had Usher did what I said and just kind of played it off and walk her on back off the stage, and you know what I'm saying, keep on doing his thing, we wouldn't be talking about this girl. But because Usher was over here Diddy style all up in his feelings because he didn't get a chance to grind on this young lady, shout out to the young lady. Pretty privilege wins again. Ooh, that's not funny, but y'all set her up for that. Y'all set her up for that. She came over here with a stank ass attitude. Yeah, I look good AF, and pretty privilege, something you'll never understand or never get to. And what's happening? This has got to be the perfect example of pretty privilege. You get to go on stage, snub Usher. I'm not gonna call it a snub, because I also feel like the people that are pulling these women on stage have to keep in mind that there is definitely an Usher fan base and a Chris Brown fan base, and maybe make sure these women are at least over 30 when you take them over there so they can get grinded up on by Usher. Child. I'm not talking about this anymore. Oh. So Carlos did an interview with Kelly from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Drew Sidora came over here with something to say. So we're gonna start with Drew. She playing her song.
Baby, you must be losing your.
Delusional. She said that, baby, you delusional. A true fashion girl never has to announce it. The outfits speak for themselves. I don't see no fashion over here. I don't know what she talking about, but that clapback was lame. So anyway, Carlos did an interview with Kelly. It says, do y'all agree? Kelly says she set the standard on ROA, and when it comes to fashion events and more. I mean, these things for me, it's just like this is a joke for me. I don't know what she means by that, but we're gonna listen to what Kelly had to say.
Oh,
No, tell me, I want to know.
talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to content, they weren't doing content in season 16. Nobody had their own videographer and photographer. Elliot and I have been working together for 8 years prior to me even filming. When it came to events, I always did events. You can look back on my page. I didn't host an event at Williams-Sonoma because of being on this show. No, I've hosted several events with Williams-Sonoma prior to being on the show. When it comes to Balmain, I hosted a birthday party in Balmain. Shut down the store. These women can do that because they really don't shop in the stores.
Where do they shop at?
I gotta ask them. I don't know, wherever they can return. Okay. Police escorts. When they came to police escorts, I've always had a police escort. Like security. I mean, these things for me, it's just like, this is a joke for me. I just feel like maybe they don't want to give me my flowers, but I set a lot of standards for these ladies.
Okay,
I did.
Well,
I mean, they're using the stylist now, which is all, I mean, it's all good, you know? Like, they're all using the stylist. They all look like his protege.
Okay, so I'm gonna give. Okay.
It's cute.
No. Okay,
it's cute. They needed it. Did they not? They needed it, and you know that they did. And I love that for them. They should. You should be spending the money. Y'all make enough. You should be reinvesting in yourselves and your careers. Absolutely. I just got here. I'm not making nowhere near what y'all making, but been doing this. Even with the stylist, I was with him for years prior to being on the show. He can't knock that. He can't deny that.
Look, I will say the girls were doing events before you, though.
Okay, the girls were doing events, but what type of events were they doing? Did they shut down Phipps Plaza?
Marla Hampton.
Oh, she's that girl.
Marla Hampton did.
What did she shut down?
Phipps Plaza season 4.
Where?
I forgot what store it was, but we shot in Phipps Plaza. Season 4.
Well, she makes sense. Marlo makes sense.
You like Marlo?
Love Marlo.
Do you think Marlo deserves to be back on the show?
I would love for Marlo to come back on the show. If you look at it, I
would definitely not love for Marlo to be back on the show. So this is my thing about these girls and these labels. We just talked about how Chanel is over there destroying thousands of dollars worth of merchandise, to keep the brand on a luxurious level. Just because you wearing labels does not make you a fashionista. Kelly was over here wearing labels. I guess she still is. Shamia over here. What's her name? Britt Edie. Marlo even. I feel like Marlo was the one that was the first one that came through with all these labels. Unpopular opinion, I feel like Marlo looks tacky most of the time, even though she has on all this expensive stuff. She's to me, it's very clownish the way Marlo dresses, just like Kelly. When you look at, and I use Beverly Hills as an example because that's where all the money is. When you look at the Beverly Hills ladies, they're over there wearing all the same labels, but it just doesn't look the same in terms of being over the top, We don't need Fendi and Balmain and all these names all over everything in order to none of them look fashionable. Marlo, when you go on her page and you look at her fashion pictures, those are different than what she was wearing. When she takes a high fashion picture, Marlo, I'm gonna give her that. But just walking around in the middle of Atlanta, to me, y'all look a fool. um Most of these label girls are tacky, and Atlanta is like that. It's very fake to me in terms of these ladies walking around. You notice on all these shows, as soon as they start getting a little money, even over on Huntsville, soon as they start spending a little money on some designer labels, they walk, hey girl, you look cute, like those shoes. They always approach the fashion first. In a way that they're celebrating the fact that they, oh my God, it's Prada. That would be an Erica Jane thing. I would say the only one on Beverly Hills that's tacky, just like these girls over here, is Erica Jane, because she's flaunting labels instead of just being used to luxury. She's used to it now, I guess, but then she had to go back to Marshalls and get those things. So Chanel, stop being selfish. Erica Jane needs her discount price for her bags. Um, Kelly is going through a divorce, so I feel like that divorce has got her in a financial chokehold. So she's not able to do things the way she's used to doing them. But I don't know about her saying she set the standard. I don't think you can set the standard unless you're that bitch. She can have the Balmain store shut down, and I would imagine the only way to do that is to spend a lot of money over there. You know what I'm saying? But then to end up, I don't think Kelly's spending is what got her in this trouble. I think her divorce is what got her in this bind. But spending to the point where your business will go in the hole based on, not having a backup funds, that you are over here spending down to the Balmain store. I don't know. As a housewife, I like Kelly. I feel like, Kelly didn't come over here with no fake storyline. Everything that Kelly was talking about online down to the blogs was happening over here on the show. So, like I said, Kelly was over here on Carlos King. I had it on. I wasn't that invested. But I did hear, it was in the background. Um, Kelly says she always been that girl. So, she came from money, or she's always had money all the way down to kindergarten. So this is not new for her. She says she wasn't interested in this lifestyle of a housewife, but Kelly, you're over here. So something wanted you, even if it wasn't the money, it was something that made you want to come over here. Envying these housewives individually, I believe her. I don't think there's anybody over here worth envying. Even Shamia has all that, and she's still unhappy. And if she's happy, we can't tell because she over here crying over Portia. But yeah, I think it's so delusional for Kelly to come over here and act like she brought something to the table other than what did she bring to the table, child? I would say her authenticity. Kelly does stand on business as a housewife. She's not on the Portia train. Even as Shamia's friend, she, is honest in terms of, girl, stop apologizing, stand on business. So I do like Kelly as a housewife. I do appreciate that Kelly is giving us a real story. And last season, Kelly carried the season with events. And I think, Shamia, if you're coming back, you need to do what Kelly did first season. You need to come over here, throw all these different events. You know what I'm saying? When you go down the housewife train, this season, did Angela do anything? She did not. She did not host anything. Last year, she hosted that gala, but she says that's annual, that they do that every year. So, and then she took him down to Bankhead. She took the ladies down to Bankhead. And if you want to call that an event, I don't know. But they was worried about parking their cars. The ladies came over there and got dropped off because they were concerned about their cars sitting outside, that vault that you took them in. Phaedra. Did Phaedra have an event? She had that thing in her house where, she's pretending to be a Reiki master. So, yeah, Phaedra, that's not an event. Having people over at your house to me is not an event. That's not it. Um, who else? Shamia. Shamia had that costume party. We didn't see nothing. We saw some paper mache asses and that little corner. So these ladies need to work on their event throwing. Kelly's money is funny, and I'm quite sure once this husband gets out of her hair. And I also think that Sandy Springs location, she was still married to that man, and whatever decisions that they made, going into it, he was tied to it, which is probably why her hands were tied in terms of making that business successful. And also maybe the location wasn't great. You guys got to be careful with the location, figuring out like if your business is going to be a fit over there, wherever same thing with Carrie Paul and the Bell Collective. You have a good idea, but then you have to realize, because you can put your business, a great business, in a demographic that's going to be like, they too fancy over there, or, vice versa. So, yeah, I think Kelly's finances is in a hole because of going through a divorce. Y'all want to be running down to the chapel, child. As a housewife, though, I like Kelly. She's annoying because she's got a big mouth, but she's bringing real story. Pinky, did Pinky host anything? She hosted an event where she made them donate to the community, which that's an event, but it wasn't a luxurious event. But Pinky is also over there, in bankruptcy. She probably can't, be flossing and things until she gets that situation settled. Cynthia was the host of everything this season, and she's not even a housewife. Cynthia hosted the trip. She through multiple events, I feel like. So yeah, I hope Kelly gets her groove back. If she always had it, then this snafu in her life is not going to change anything. She just in a rough patch. She had that man come over there that we couldn't even see. And Kelly, if we can't see him, leave him where the hell he is. Portia ain't do shit. Portia had a dinner and fake relationships. She got this girlfriend now, but it is what it is. We take it to the grain of salt because we know Portia is she ain't real. So yeah, Kelly, did you set the standard? I wouldn't say that. You can't come over here and set no standard based on, tacky, looking tacky with expensive, like this blue thing. It looks stupid because, see Coco Chanel. That's all I'm going to say. What did Coco Chanel say? I know she said, look at everything you got on before you leave the house, remove something. But she also had a quote about style, and I don't want to misquote her, so I'm gonna look it up. Coco Chanel's quote about fashion. Fashion changes, but style endures. Elegance is the refusal, and simplicity is the keynote of all true elegance. Her timeless philosophy focused on comfort, personal identity, and power and understanding of grace. Yeah, you just because you got on all them expensive labels, girl, does not make you stylish. It just makes you spending your money on clothes that by the 6 months from now is probably going to be in somebody's shredder. So, I mean, take that note. So before we get out of here, I wanted to share a couple things that came across my timeline. We talk about BBLs a lot, and so and K Michelle on the Housewives discussing some of the things that she's dealing with, from the aftermath of having a BBL. And so this doctor is assessing this lady. She's combing some hair, but it looks like she's doing it in her underpants. And I've never seen it before, but this can be, what happens to you with those BBL and artificial.
I'm not really sure what this video is about, but, this can often be what the skin looks like after either years of the silicone being in there, extensive damage to the butt and the thigh areas you can kind of see, or maybe she had liposuction that kind of caused further damage. But, you know, the skin damage is pretty extensive. I would assume that all those areas are hard. She doesn't have great sensation in that area. So, yeah, I feel terrible for her. I hope she gets it fixed pretty quickly. Okay. You know,
I'm not even sure what you do to fix that. And like I said, I've never seen what a BBL, like the results of some of these BBLs look like. Her skin is discolored. He said it's probably hard. Problem is, you get that stuff done and you may not be able to afford to fix it. So when K Michelle is over here talking about this fiance and that fiance and this was my man and that was my man, and then she's dealing with all of these things that she's got going on, it doesn't surprise me that she went ahead and married the man that's been there her whole life, because he's been there every step of the way with her. And I think when you're dealing with this kind of issue, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not saying her butt looks like that, but we know there's a situation there because she's having, open wounds happen, and while she's just sitting, which doesn't make sense to me because you sit on your ass majority of the time. So this doesn't surprise me, but they don't necessarily have the money to go back and get that stuff fixed. She's over here doing some type of hair tutorial with no pants on. I'm with him. I don't know what this video is about, but we see more of her ass than the hair that she's doing. So, yeah, I guess think about it before you go do it. Thankfully, I feel like this phase is, leaving to some extent, because Drew just went out there and did it. Drew just spent a whole season listening to K Michelle and her horror story about having butt implants or whatever she had, injections. And then Drew went over there and did it anyway. Hopefully this isn't her destiny, because this is terrible. Maybe, a Balmain sweater will help. So we talked yesterday about deadbeat dads. We had Tom Cruise and what's his name? Brad Pitt over here being raggedy daddies, not taking care of their kids. And we talk a lot about how, the young man, gave honor to his mother for helping him, get to a place where he could go to Harvard. I'm going to go ahead and give this young man some credit. I know there's a lot of times people are like, well, we're not giving no man no cookie for doing what he's supposed to be doing. I'm not acknowledging him, necessarily for doing what he's supposed to be doing, but I feel like this is above and beyond. So I'm gonna show y'all the video and then we can talk about it. Or not, or I'll just talk about it.
Can y'all go ahead and do this so we can be done with it?
Can I get my son, please?
Yeah, hold your smile for it.
Thank you. Don't get my baby like this, keep on.
Come on, let ride out.
Why would you get my baby?
So it says waited almost 2 hours for his mother to retrieve him. There at the police
Y'all go ahead and do this.
I made sure the deputy was on site. He proceeds to attempt to cause conflict. Claimed she was at a job interview. So he waited 2 hours for her. And, 2 hours. She says she was at a job interview. And then she gets there dressed in, a broad top and some pants. I don't know what job she was interviewing for. And he hands her the baby, and she wants to start an argument like, why would you hand me the baby like that? Well, you put the phone down. Put the phone down so you could take the baby. You talking about why did he hand you the baby like that? You only had one hand available for him to hand you the baby, because I don't know what. I don't. Is she recording? It doesn't look like it. The reason why I say I'm gonna give him credit is because he sat there for 2 hours, and that means he really wants to spend time with this kid. Because we know how we know how this goes. We know how, most of the time, in most cases, you have the woman sitting up there and the father never shows up. And clearly, the situation between the two of them is very volatile because they have to have this drop off at the police station. And like I said, she shows up with her bra on and some pants, and she wants to be mad at how he handed her the baby when she only had one hand available for him to hand the kid off to. Like she couldn't put her phone down for 2 seconds. What are you recording for? He has another person recording. Obviously, he has somebody recording because he wants y'all to see exactly how this girl always want to start something. So, shout out to the teacher, the professor that kept the baby in class while this young man was trying to get his education. And I'm going to go ahead and shout out to this young man because mostly, like I said, it's the other way around. And I think we need to take a look sometimes at some of these mamas. Like, there's so many men that don't show up. Stop trying to chase the ones away that do show up and do what they're supposed to be doing. Good grief, to have to stand at it, to go to a police department. So I'm gonna end with this one, y'all. It's summertime. People are trying to get their vacations out before these kids go back to school. I'm here in Kissimmee. The mouse is my neighbor, and they did the people dirty yesterday down here at Disney World. It says all of downtown Disney doesn't have any running water, so all restaurants are closed, plus almost all restrooms in the park are closed in the heat of summer. It's time for Disney to just shut it down and refund those tickets. Give them a pass for another day. When I tell you, you go to Disney, first of all, you can't even just go anymore. Back in the day, you used to be able to just go. Now you have to make reservations. You can't just go. You can't just go for the day. You have to schedule it. So they need to reschedule these people. And a lot of them, you're from out of town, you're from out of the country. There's no way to enjoy Disney in the heat of summer with no water, and you can't go to the bathroom. And the fact that they kept it going baffles my mind. Like, why didn't y'all just shut the park down and, give these people passes for another day? Anyway, Disney tickets for one day. Let's see. It says 2 days. I'm gonna just give you the breakdown. 2-day tickets from ages 10 is $210 per ticket. And to be honest, that's cheaper than they have been. That's for Florida residents. 4 days, $399 per ticket. Yeah, Disney, y'all need to do better. Florida residents got a deal. I need to take advantage of this, a 2-day ticket for $99.50, because normally they're $199. So Disney, it must be hard over there. They got this 50% off deal, and y'all don't have no water. You're gonna have to drop the percentage some more. You can't function in a day, anywhere in Florida or just about anywhere else with no water, child, and no toilet. That's it. That's all I got for today, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm gonna try to do the same. I'll be back Saturday at 8:00. I don't know if y'all are watching Project Runway, but I will be watching Project Runway tomorrow, and then I'll be over here Saturday at 8, so we can review these looks, child. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.